the greatest rock and roll band in the world, the Rolling Stones. Boom.
The guitar, Ronnie.
I was lured just into the atmosphere, and that was it. It changed my life.
I used to run home from school to watch the Stones on TV, Wood once said. Right from when I was at college, I wanted to be in that band.
My future, what I wanted to do. This looks like a good job. You know, it's the greatest job you could possibly have.
I always knew I was going to end up in this band, Wood further explained.
And I thought one day I'll be in that band.
Ronnie has always, or so he tells me, knew that he was going to be in the Rolling Stones.
How you doing?
When you got the gig with the Rolling Stones, did you have to think twice?
No.
Don't get angry with me!
Like I said, towards the end of the period I was with them, I think I got, for whatever reason, disillusioned with it a little bit, and a little bit bored. And being the sort of very impulsive type of person I was and still am a little bit, I just thought, well, I don't want to do this anymore.
Legend has it that not long after the release of It's Only Rock and Roll, Wood found himself at a party, sitting between Mick Jagger and Mick Taylor.
I was sitting on this sofa in the middle. Mick Jagger was here and Mick Taylor was here.
Out of the blue, Taylor leaned over to Jagger and announced he was leaving the band.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. We were all having a chat and a drink. And then at one point, Taylor leans over to Jagger and says, I'm leaving the band. I'm leaving right now.
You know, it's a love-hate relationship with me. Always will be.
In 1974, Mick made the tough decision to leave the Rolling Stones.
It really wasn't a big deal to me, leaving the Stones.
I had no idea why he left the band. It was the stupidest idea I ever heard. And he never told me really the reason.
A lot of people think I'm crazy for leaving.
Both Jagger and Wood were stunned, especially since the Stones already had studio time booked for their next sessions.
And Mick said, I think he was serious. And I said, I think he was too. And he said, what am I going to do? I said, I don't know, Mick. What do you reckon?
After Taylor walked out, Jagger turned to Wood and asked if he would consider joining the band.
And he said, would you join? And I went, I thought you'd never ask, It was so funny. He said, but you're already in a band, aren't you?
It was a big choice for Ronnie because Ronnie was in several bands. Ronnie's been in quite a few bands.
Though tempted, Wood initially declined, saying he was committed to the Faces, but he agreed to help out with the upcoming sessions.
I said, well, I don't want to split the Faces up. I said, but look, if you get desperate, call me up.
The Stones then recorded their next album, Black and Blue, with a rotating cast of guitarists, including Steve Marriott, Harvey Mandel, Wayne Perkins, and Peter Frampton.
The day before we started Black and Blue, Mick Taylor decided to leave the band. So we all met at Heathrow to go to Germany to make the record, to start the record. While we was there, they auditioned all kinds of guitar players. It actually drove me nuts. I'd have to, I'd be sitting there and waiting to get on with it, and they'd be auditioning some bloody guitar player from Timbuktu, I don't know.
Jagger preferred to keep the band's lineup British, and neither Marriott nor Frampton seemed to click with the group.
Jeff Beck was checked in there, and Steve Marriott was a contender as well.
They said, who could be in the Stones? And I know there was 6 of us. Ry Cooder was one. Mick, who played with David Bowie, was put up. Me, that I was at least recognized as being maybe someone who could be in that band.
Well, for a while there, I was hoping the phone would ring and it would be the Stones. I think all of us guitar players did. Waddy Wachtel did, for sure.
First of all, we try people out. A long process. I want to talk about all these other people that are mad. We had a proper, organized kind of try to find people. And they appear on the album.
In 1975, fate knocked on his door.
I was on my deathbed in LA. I was really ill. I couldn't move. And the phone rings and it's Mick and he said, Ronnie, I'm desperate. I need you, and I was going, all right.
And invited him to join the world's greatest rock and roll band, the Rolling Stones.
They said, okay, you're in the studio at 2:00, whatever. So anyway, I just walked in and I said, hey, guys, I got this song. I said, it goes like this. And Charlie said, he's only been here 5 minutes and he's bossing us around. Everybody started to join in, right?
Among the legends, joining the Rolling Stones was no small feat. Ronnie stepped in after Mick Taylor left in 1974, and the band needed a new spark. Ronnie brought that and more.
I had a very good rapport with Ronnie, when I was just jamming with him.
Mick started shouting, woo, and singing, and he put some words to it.
His infectious energy, playful attitude, and natural chemistry with Keith Richards helped him slide right into the mix.
And I'm thinking, this is the guy. I've already been working with him. We're already, simpatico.
We'd all played together a lot before. We knew each other, so that made it quite easy in a way to make that choice.
There's not a lot of him, fit him in anywhere. He's London, and we'd kind of all known. I knew him probably better because I'd been recording with him, which made the thing even more obvious.
The first time I'd met a band with any kind of organisation, we would get newsletters. We'd know what we were doing, when we were doing it, and we'd know what we were going to be playing, all the keys of the songs, and all this was foreign to me from the faces, because I think we might have just written down a few songs before, let's do this, just before we went on stage. Oh, all right then, we'll have a go at that. And it was famous on the faces. We go, what's next, Ron? We'd be going, what are we doing next, Ron? It was so funny to go from that to the organisation of the Stones.
I was always confident I would end up in this band, and a few years later I did.
Eric said, I could have had that job, I said, Eric, but you got to live with them.
And so, Ronnie Wood found his place among rock's greatest legends.
Tune-out room session.
I knew what I had to do, even then. I knew somebody had to kick them up the arse, and sure enough.
Bringing his own unique style and energy to the Rolling Stones, a role he's cherished ever since.
Yeah, Ron's my great mate, man. They're funny.
And Ronnie is one of the greatest naturally funny people alive. And, don't take anyone too seriously. Don't take anything too seriously.
Ronnie's kind of a mischief maker. You can just tell. Yeah, you're going to have a good time when Ronnie walks in the room.
He just had that right kind of London atmosphere about him. He was the perfect fit for the Stones, Ronnie Wood.
It's the energy you bring that makes the difference. Anybody can play it like the record, but when you go on stage and you bring it and the band goes, yeah, because of what you brought, that's what Ronnie did.
I wanted someone that was easy to get on with, that wasn't too difficult and that was a good player and was used to playing on stage, Jagger once said. It's quite a lot to ask of someone to come and do a big American tour with a band like the Stones, I mean, not that I think the Stones are any really big deal, but it tends to be a bit of a paralyzing experience for people. You know what I mean? And I wanted someone that wasn't going to be phased out.
He was a very different player to Mick Taylor, who was this rather a brilliant, sort of meticulous blues player. And Ronnie was more of a good-time English band, rock on,
His first tour with the band, the 1975 Tour of the Americas, was a baptism by fire.
It was hard to believe, but there they were, right smack in the middle of Lower Fifth Avenue.
You're suddenly out on the street and you're playing fucking live music.
It was crazy.
More of a fun thing, I thought. Not so dangerous. The feeling was that you were having a good time. It was a bit of a lark. And I think it was very much the Ronnie thing.
It was crazy. We'd have Annie Leibovitz following us everywhere, and there'd be journalists and groupies and madness going on, all these different cultures. It's just a gathering of people, so many different personalities.
We had all the press gathered in a restaurant, and they thought the Stones were going in. And so we just drove by playing Ground City. And they were all there running out of the restaurant with their pads.
Few musical partnerships have the same electric chemistry and enduring quality as the one between Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood. As the twin guitarists of the Rolling Stones, Richards and Wood have forged a dynamic that's not only unique in rock history, but also pivotal to the band's distinctive sound.
And so 75, what he brought was a whole new sense of purpose. We felt a coherence as a band again.
And this band works on two guitars, and it's very important who they are. That is the basis of the band, how these two guitars work together.
But Ronnie took it all in stride. He and Keith quickly developed a unique guitar partnership where both played off each other without a defined lead or rhythm role.
I started this with the Rolling Stones with Brian Jones, certain kind of guitar player, and we developed a sort of sound there. Then came Mick Taylor, totally different guitar player. We had to separate the rhythm from the lead. And then I started to work with Ronnie. And I'm thinking, man, this is the guy.
Their musical interplay, friendship, and shared history are at the heart of what has kept the Stones' engine running for decades.
When you think about Ronnie and his ability to intertwine with what it is that Keith does, I think that that's a great gift. If God himself created the perfect foil for Keith, it had to have been Ronnie Wood.
Richards has often said that Wood brought a renewed sense of fun and camaraderie to the Stones. The pair were drawn to each other's reckless and free-spirited attitudes, forming an unspoken bond that would translate seamlessly into their musical collaborations.
We are the Axemen, and we cometh.
They became known not just for their unique weaving guitar technique, but also for their constant banter and playfulness, both on and off stage.
That relationship is really special. It's really special because they are actually feeding off each other. It's kind of a call and a response. Keith calls, Ronnie responds. Ronnie calls, Keith responds.
One of the most distinctive aspects of Richards and Wood's partnership is their guitar playing style, often referred to as the ancient art of weaving.
The ancient art of weaving, it is a matter of give and take. It's the space between what you play. It's the meaning of what you play and no overindulgence. And when you get two basket cases working with each other, you have an early form of weaving.
Unlike the traditional setup where one guitarist takes the lead role while the other plays rhythm, Richards and Wood seamlessly trade off between lead and rhythm parts. They weave their guitar lines together, creating a tapestry of sound that allows for spontaneity and improvisation.
When you hear them, I'm not sure which guitarist I'm hearing at any given time. It's all chords hitting guitar rhythms, guitar riffs. And good old Ronnie probably played a lot of the stuff that Keith gets credit for.
Richards's playing style is rooted in a rhythmic, almost percussive use of open tunings, which gives his chords a rich, resonant quality. Meanwhile, Wood's style complements Richards with his slide guitar expertise and more fluid, melodic approach.
They become one person with four arms. They are weaving this guitar web.
Together, they create a sound that's both raw and sophisticated, filled with nuance and grit.
Because Ronnie had been boning up. He knew it better than I did.
And I would correct him. I say, no, that song fades out on the album. You haven't got an ending. We're going to have to find one. And he'd go, oh, yeah, you're right.
While Richards's playing is often characterized by his distinctive open G tuning and minimalist rhythmic approach, Wood's style brings a contrasting texture.
He said, just because I wrote them doesn't necessarily mean I know them.
Wood's background in blues and jazz allows him to add fluidity and a melodic sense that enhances the Stones' music.
It's just navigation. The ancient mariners used to use the stars. We use the upcoming break.
His slide guitar work, in particular, adds a sharp and soulful edge, perfectly offsetting Richards' hard, syncopated riffs. The result is a harmonious clash, a sound that is at once jagged and smooth, wild, yet controlled. This duality is part of what has made the Rolling Stones sound so unique and identifiable over the years.
Or, where everyone knows they're going to stop. Or look a fool.
On songs like Beast of Burden, Miss You, and Start Me Up.
Keith would run me through a few things of what he could remember of arrangements and stuff.
One can hear how Wood's colorful playing complements Richards' raw, riff-driven style, creating a sonic interplay that is impossible to replicate.
Every time you change a member of the band, it's going to take on another characteristic. And Ronnie was certainly a sense of fun. He was more of a showman, and I think more of a humorist, and that really helped.
Well, he came from the Faces, which used to jump about, and just very funny, because that's what he's like.
Beyond the music, the friendship between Richards and Wood has been one of the most endearing aspects of their partnership.
I love you.
They share a mischievous spirit and a love of the rock and roll lifestyle, which has only solidified their bond.
All I knew when I first met Ronnie is he could be my brother.
They often refer to themselves as brothers, and this familial feeling extends to their time both on and off the stage.
He found his little brother.
The unique partnership between Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood remains one of the band's most enduring features.
And Ronnie's other assignment was to be Keith's buddy he could play with, because that's where the ideas come from, with acoustic guitars.
Their guitar interplay continues to evolve, demonstrating a remarkable balance of individuality and unity.
And there'd be beautiful girls, and Keith and I would forget that they were there because we'd be playing, and there'd be these beautiful girls looking at their watches going, yawning, I've been here 3 days, they haven't even said hello, I'll be right there, I just got to do this, I think the music was so powerful that it just overrode everything.
They have shown that the essence of a great guitar partnership is not just technical skill, but also the chemistry, friendship, and shared passion that fuel it.
He's a good drummer as well, actually. Maniac type. I mean, he's had a go at everything, actually. Suddenly he turns up with a cornet. Then he was going to be a saxophone player. They had to put up with him walking about honking all over the place.
Ronnie Wood is one of the most inspired, brilliant musicians I've ever encountered. You can put any instrument in his hands.
Richards and Wood have achieved something rare in rock history, a true musical conversation that never gets old.
My ego has to stand aside. I'm too busy concentrating, I'm too busy learning and going like, okay, this needs a pedal steel guitar. I'll learn how to play it.
While Mick Jagger and Keith are known for their famous clashes, Ronnie has always been the glue holding things together.
I love the fact that Ronnie is the catalyst. He's the guy that can bring it all together, and he's the guy that can sit down and figure it out and make it work.
Known for his easygoing nature, Ronnie often played the role of peacemaker in the band, smoothing out tensions between Mick Jagger and Keith Richards.
The whirlwind, the hurricane, the tornado, all the highs of being there and the highs of the dope and the drink. My feet never really touched the ground for many years. It was like, I'm home. I had that feeling of coming home when I joined the band.
I think if you had 5 Mick and Keiths, it could have been overload. You know, you needed that yin and yang. And so for me, that's the magic of a band, is the chemistry.
Their relationship is a reminder that in music, as in life, the magic often lies in the spaces between the notes, in the push and pull, the give and take, and the joy of creating something together.
For Ronnie, I think joining an existing band like the Rolling Stones was something of an artistically Faustian bargain that he made, which is you get to be a part of the greatest band ever, and that's exhilarating.
When things got too heated, Ronnie would be there with a joke, a smile, or a story to lighten the mood.
But you also aren't going to be allowed to do all the things that you're capable of for the sake of fitting into this band.
But don't be fooled. He was also the life of the party.
Public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.